Alright, so welcome back. We'll be uh, going after that goal of trying to get 2 topics done today. Last video I did VPLS and it was a disaster. I couldn't get anything to come up. I have no idea why. I'd like to do one more video on that, but I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. So the video is just doing this resolution guide I found because it just looks like a really good guide. So I already marked it done, but I'm gonna actually go back and do one more video and just try to keep this as short as I can. And we're just gonna follow this resolution guide, because even if it turns out that the problem isn't resolved, just kind of having that sense for what I need to do to resolve it, if the problem were resolvable, I think will really help on test day. So this is in the control plane. VPLS connection is not listed or is down, and that is exactly what we've got going on here. Let's take a look at that. Yep. And if I get rid of the summary, we can see it's no connections found. So this article provides a detailed step-by-step procedure to troubleshoot generic virtual private LAN service VPLS control plane issues. The scope of this article is limited to BGP signal VPLS setup as described in RFC 4761. If your scenario is not addressed here, also refer to the VPLS resources for Junos devices. Okay, so we've got another guide to go through as well. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we've got 2 things we can do. We can do a troubleshooting guide for the control plane or the forwarding plane. My issue is going to be on the control plane because we don't have the VPLS connection up. Okay, so symptoms. The goal is to troubleshoot VPLS connection setup related issues. Perfect. Symptoms. VPLS connection not listed. Yep. VPLS connections are not up. If the VPLS connection is up and you are having trouble with traffic passing, then refer to forwarding plane. Okay, so it's not up. Okay, so they're using a very similar topology to what I've got. Perfect. Perform the following steps. Note, while these troubleshooting steps can be applied for all code versions and for all platforms, this troubleshooting guide is written primarily keeping MX platform in mind. That's fine, that's what I'm using. So we can get a flow chart of the steps. So yeah, let's use the flow chart. So, okay, so the connection is not listed or down. That's exactly what we got. So we'll follow this arrow down here. We're going to do a show VPLS connections. Okay, so is the VPLS connection listed for the remote site? It is not. So we're going to follow this arrow. So we're going to verify BGP and IBGP in the core. So to verify we're going to verify the IGP, Interior Gateway Protocol. In our case, we're using OSPF, and we're going to verify the IBGP connections. So to verify the IGP, we're going to do show route, and then it's going to be the egress PE prefix, which I believe is this one here, extensive. I'll just do a show route extensive for everything. Okay, I think we're going to need more detailed information, so let's switch over to the actual documentation, and hopefully they used the same sorts of headers and stuff. Oh, no, they didn't. Okay, so, but I think this is, yeah. So the first logical point of troubleshooting is to check if there are issues in the core with IGP and IBGP. Use the following commands to verify IGP and IBGP. For IGP, use show route egress PE prefix extensive, specifying the loopback ID of the other end egress PE router from which you are not seeing the VPLS connection listed in step 1. For example, if PE2 can't get to PE3, run the following command. Okay, perfect. So that makes a lot of sense. So let's do that. So we know. So let's make extra super sure that the loopbacks are configured correctly. So here we've got .1, so I'm thinking this one's going to be .2, but let's just make extra super sure. Yep, so it's going to be .2 and it's a /32, everything looks great. So we'll do the show route extensive on that. Okay, so if the route is not listed in the local PE routing table and is the primary route, ping the route to verify connectivity. If not pingable, shoot IGP. Okay, so it is listed, and I believe it is pingable. Yep, so that's not going to be our issue. Let's move down to verifying IBGP. Use the IBGP neighbor and then PE neighbor address. So here's so we actually don't have a PE neighbor address. We have an address to the route reflector since we're using route reflection. So maybe that's the problem right there. So use show BGP neighbor, PE neighbor address, specifying the other end PE router. Make sure the status of the BGP neighbor is established. If not, then troubleshoot issues with IBGP. For more information on the command, refer to this documentation here. Note, if there are any issues with LSPs in the core, the connection will be listed in the output in step 1, but it will not be in the upstate. In this case, I'll refer to this. Okay, but we don't even have the connection listed. Yeah, the connection is just not listed at all. So we won't need to use that one. Now one thing, so let's keep going down the, so we finished verifying IGP and IBGP. But what we found is that BGP is using a route reflector, but here it looks like they're expecting it to use to be a neighbor to this address here. Yeah, and it's not a neighbor with that, it's a neighbor with route reflector. So I think that's might be the problem right there. We've got to have a full mesh of IBGP neighbors to each actual PE, and we can't use a route reflector. Let's see if that is the case. So we're gonna reconfigure everything. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be quite a bit different of a setup than it was for layer 3 VPNs. And layer 3 VPNs, this was perfectly valid. So it makes a lot of sense that you wouldn't need a layer 3 neighborship, TCP neighborship, IP to IP for a layer 2 VPN. So this actually makes more sense than I thought it would. It seems like this is just a big difference between layer 2 VPNs and layer 3 VPNs. With the layer 3 VPN, you need more. You need IBGP to be configured on every router to every router. That was it. Oh my God, what a journey. Okay, so yeah, there's going to be a big difference in your IBGP configuration, whether you're using layer 3 VPNs or layer 2 VPNs. For layer 3 VPNs, you're going to need a full mesh of relationships between every single router in your topology. So you can use a route reflector for that and make it nice and easy on yourself. But for layer 2 VPN, since the traffic is on layer 2, not layer 3, you're not going to need that full mesh. You just need a full mesh between the PEs. So, yeah, cool. So let's go back to our flow chart. So VPLS connection listed after making any IGP or IBGP changes. Yes. So if connection status is up, but issue with passing traffic. So let's check if it's up. It's up. Okay, and let's see if there's any issue passing traffic. We should be able to now ping from the CE routers. Perfect. Yeah, so no issue passing traffic, so our problem is resolved. Now, the other thing we could check, if that was all good, is if if that didn't fix the issue, is if PE routers are advertising the correct BGP NRI, so if those family statements, if there's something wrong with that. So If they're not, then you can verify the following on interested routers. So the PE routers, you can check that the VRF target is set and the same on all your PEs. You can check if those family statements all match, family L2 VPN signaling, and you can check that the AS site ID is configured on both ends and that is unique on all your sites. Okay, so if you check all that and everything looks good, your next thing to check is going to be PE routers are receiving correct BGP NLRIs, VPLS signaling routes. So let's check that because it should look good now. So it's going to be show routes, receive protocol BGP, classic command, they use it all the time. Got two. Table, VPLS, .0, extensive. Oh, so it looks like the... Oh, right, because I named my table green instead of VPLS. Oh. Oh, I'm doing this on the CE. Okay, so here I do think I need to, yeah, so this, yeah, green is the correct. Nope. Oh, okay, extensive. Perfect, okay, now we're working. So, yep, and now we can do a short BGP summary. So let's do that command again, so it's nice and clean, and then show BGP summary. Okay, so there we go. So now we can verify if any of the routes are hidden on the receiving PE router. So, so we've got our routes from the other one, so we're good to go. So let's verify if any of them are hidden. Now this is an interesting way to verify if a route is hidden, because I would think a better way to do that would be show route hidden. Okay, so if the VPLS connection is still not listed, there might be a bug in your OS that you're using, so open a case with them. But we saw in our output, yep, everything looks great. So the other thing we could check if there's still not any connections is if the VPLS connection, actually that's the last thing. That's the last thing we can check. So we'll need to open a support case if it still doesn't show up. So yeah, perfect. Okay, so that was the answer right there. BGP has to be in a full mesh with the PEs, not a full mesh with all of the routers in the topology. Oops, it looks like my video capture device stopped. I learned how to fix that in the last video. So we're going to go to properties, deactivate, activate. Okay, so now my video capture is running again. I don't know if that's the video better or worse, but we've got everything looking good. Now that's a little bit concerning actually that my video just stops capturing, because I'm going to be taking this test over video, and if my video stops capturing, that might be an instant fail. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'm thinking I might want to take this test on my work laptop because it might be more reliable. But then, of course, I could get contacted for work or something like that, or distracted. Especially since I'm going to be taking this test during like a regular work day. well, somebody could forget that I'm taking the test or something like that. I'd rather just take it on my personal, and it's a personal test, so I'd rather take it on my personal computer. But okay, but the thing is, yeah, in about 20 minutes, I was able to get it resolved by changing that IBGP configuration. So that's going to be it for this video, and thanks for watching, and we'll move on to the next video soon.